another episode of Cocktails, Tangents, and Answers. As you know, I am Catelin, the designated office extrovert and our resident asker of intrusive with well-meaningly intrusive questions. How's that? Today, we are switching up the format a little bit. We have my standard co-host in the hot seat as opposed to in the co-host role. So you can get to know him, and we'll keep going with this series so you get to know all of the folks at Antidote 71. And I am ready to get started. Buckle up, kids. It's going to be a wild one.
Great.
Rich, thank you for doing this thing that was your idea and that you don't have a choice to opt out of.
I feel like it was Zach's idea.
That's probably true. Zach
Anyway,
is the
'cause
idea
he was like,
man.
hey, personal stuff gets traction. Like, let's
Yeah.
talk about our backgrounds. And I'm like, okay, I'll go first.
I would like to know, you are at a bar
Mm-hmm.
and it's like, it could be a dive bar or you're trying to be efficient. What is the thing that you order when you are trying not to be high maintenance and you know that the bar will have it?
I lived on these in my younger days, in
Oh,
my
boy.
20s and 30s. Vodka soda.
Okay.
So no calories, super simple. Everybody's got it. As long as you're not in England, then you got to get a vodka tonic because they didn't,
They
which
don't
was
have
really weird that they didn't have
yes.
soda water.
All
Because
right.
it was invented by the English, right?
I don't know. I don't know anything
I
about
don't
the vodka. Nobody really cares about the background of vodka soda. It's pretty
Yeah.
standard. You know.
If I'm in Italy,
Yeah.
it's a spritz, but anywhere, it's generally a vodka soda because
Yeah.
I know I'll enjoy it. A little bit of lime, a little bit of lemon. I've had it with an orange peel.
Oh,
But
cute.
whatever.
Okay.
Yep.
I love that. Yeah, that's 1.5 ounces of vodka and some soda and a twist.
I mean,
Don't
let's be
stir it because
honest.
the bubbles will
It's
go away.
a little bit of ice in a glass. You pour in however much vodka you want. You top it off with soda. You sip it. If it's nasty, you sip a little bit more and just
And then
hold
you
your
just
breath,
get
and then
to-
you
yeah.
add more soda
Yeah.
and squeeze a lime into
It's
it.
very easy. Very easy.
All right, cool. Easiest
Well,
cocktail we've done.
Yeah, that's easy, and I like it. And I actually had a vodka soda over the weekend for the reason of it was easy and did not give me heartburn. So
Mm,
it wouldn't be my first choice, but I knew that
yep,
it would
no.
be a safe drink. I would like to know if you could be instantly amazing at something totally unrelated to your job. What would it be?
Deep
One
sea
thing.
diving. Deep
Interesting.
sea diving.
Okay, I have to know
Yeah.
why.
So I love to swim. I love being in the water.
Okay.
I've never taken a diving course, oddly enough. Even when I lived in San Diego, I just never did one. But I think if I could just instantly be able to do it and know it and not have to go through all the training, and because it's a lot of training, I think that would be it. Because I would love to be underwater for like hours and be able to breathe and see fish
That
and
is
things.
fascinating. I think drowning is like my worst fear. I think like the claustrophobia feeling of drowning it ranks up there for like things I am most afraid of.
Yeah,
So-
I mean,
or
I'm
like falling from a
kind
high
of-
height. So I don't.
Yeah, I don't share those. I'm okay with both of those. Like, I mean, I don't think that I'm gonna. I don't know how I'm gonna die. Who knows how they're gonna die? But I'm just so comfortable in the water, and also very like respectful of the water. I understand the power, especially the ocean has, but even a lake or a swimming pool, nature can kill us.
That's correct.
More if
And
you're in
she
Australia. If you're in
probably
Australia,
will.
all of nature wants to kill
Yes. Okay. So I know the answers to most of these questions,
you.
but
That's okay.
our listeners may not. So can you give me your, let's call it a 30-second background? How did you start?
Whew.
How did you end up here?
Yeah, so I was a radio DJ when I was younger. That was my kind of cool high school and college job. Worked
I
at.
wanted that job. I wanted to
It
be a
was great.
DJ.
It doesn't pay worth
Oh.
crap, which is why I kind of shifted. So I was a corporate communications major because I wanted to go into PR and blah blah blah.
Yeah.
And I had this is so stupid, but I had basically like finished my major and my minor and still had my senior year left.
Wow.
And I had a full scholarship. So I was like, why would I waste that money?
No.
So I went to my advisor who pointed me to another advisor who's Pam Mickelson, who I know you know. We'll just shout out to Pam.
She's just one of the greats.
And she looked at my list of everything I'd done and then looked at the business administration major with a marketing emphasis,
Hmm.
and I had so much overlap between the courses. I had to take the business course. I had to take accounting. I had to take economics. Ugh, hated
Ugh.
both of those. Economics was actually my worst grade.
Yeah.
But it got me into the advertising campaigns class as well, where you actually do a campaign. And we did ours, I want to say was it Kodak that year? Is that the year I was doing it? Yeah, I think it was Kodak. Anyway, got into that, loved it, loved the whole thing, loved media, loved like doing strategy and all of that. And then when I got out of college, I got a job at an agency. So I'm on my plan A, which is really
That's wild
annoying.
because I think I'm on plan like F.
Yeah, you've had,
I've
look
had
it
a
to
lot of
you, but
jobs.
not
Wait,
today.
that's not today. Yeah,
No,
yeah.
not today. It's
I
about me.
admire somebody who sticks to the original plan because that's not a skill I
Not
have
vodka,
always.
by the way. This is just
Got
water,
it.
not
Well,
vodka.
that's too bad.
Could be. You never know.
When did you know? It sounds like pretty early on that like this was your jam. Marketing and advertising was it.
Yeah, I mean, that first agency job, I was a writer slash account executive. And I've gone back and forth with writing throughout my career, and now I don't do much writing. But I did an ad for, it was First Federal Savings Bank at the time, which has gone through multiple name changes. And my friend Cheryl was the account person. And we did an ad that was, "You could beg or steal, we recommend borrow," or "We suggest borrow" was the headline. Um,
That's
so we got a
fantastic.
bank to put beg and steal in. They ran it too because they had loan rates. Like they were like a local
Yeah.
bank, so they
Yeah,
were
yeah.
they were able to like go lower on rates, and they were really competing with credit unions. And they ran it, and it was a success, and that was really fun. So that was like a creative thing, getting that writing because it was just the headline and like 4 lines of copy and a big percent. Um, so that was really fun. We also did another one. We did the ATM 500. So we took, they had just launched, this is like so like late 90s. They just launched a new ATM at a big new branch that they'd opened, that I don't think is even a branch anymore for a bank. Um, and they wanted people to use it, and they didn't charge a fee. But what I didn't realize is banks get fees from other banks when the other bank's customers use theirs, so they wanted non-customers to use it. So we took, in the fives, we put in 10 $20 bills. So no, 10, yeah, so $200 just interspersed with the fives when you got a thing. And then in the 20s, we put whatever it would be, one, two, 650s. So
Okay.
essentially there was an extra $500 in cash. So if you took out a 20, you might get a 50. If you took out a
Wow.
5, you might get a 20. And so it's called the ATM 500. And it just ran until the money ran out. And it was really fun. We had like a racing theme, and it was a little cheesy, but like the idea that you could get free money, and
Yeah.
they were like, so this just costs us an ad that we would normally do and $500. I'm like, yeah. And I'm like,
That's
but they got
brilliant.
so much buzz. It was really great. Yeah.
Well, and they probably made it back in the fees
Uh,
too, if there
a
were
100%. It was
non.
profitable.
Yeah.
Yeah. Because think about it. They loaded it in when they filled the ATM with all of the money. So
Yeah.
like, I don't know how many 20s or how many fives were in there. There's not even fives in ATMs anymore. I don't think. Just
Some
these.
do. Our bank does.
Okay. That's nice of them. But they loaded it in, so you didn't know. Like, it could have been the first one coming out, it could have been the last. But yeah, their ATMs had lines. It was really fun.
That's
It was
wild.
so fun.
I'm trying to think how often, because one of my previous plans was working at a bank, and I'm wondering how often we filled the ATM.
Yeah,
Maybe
I don't
like
know.
once or twice a week.
I wish I had
But
like
yeah,
additional details. Like, did they have to fill it like faster? Like, how fast did that ATM
yeah,
clear out?
yeah.
Um, but yeah, I mean,
This,
and people had limits too, right? You see, had limits back then. You could only get like $200 a day out or
I
five
think
hundred
those are
dollars a day.
those are still in place. You can still only take like a certain amount from the
They've gone
ATM.
up, I think,
Have
because I
it
think mine is
probably,
like
yeah.
600 or 1,000 with one of my
Okay,
banks.
get
I
the
think my
get that
credit
debit
union is
card
like $1,000 a day, but
in
I
a
don't know.
ATM. I would
I
never.
don't ever take cash out
Well,
anyway. Like, I
the
don't use
idea of
cash.
having $1,000 in cash on my person that I'm not immediately going to hand to someone else for it to be their responsibility makes me want to hurl. That's
That's like when I
awful.
travel and people are like, "Oh, you need to get like $1,000
What
in the
the?
local currency out," and I'm like, first of all, I'm going to
No.
pay through the nose. Second of all, my ATM card works there.
No, absolutely
Like,
not.
I'll be
I'll just
fine.
be using the American Express. Thank you.
Also, chip and pin, chip and pin.
Yeah.
All
Oof,
right.
yikes. Yeah.
So, yeah.
This, I mean, like that might, you might have answered my next question, but over the course of 20 plus years in the industry, is there another project or campaign that stands out for you? Yeah.
Oh, yeah.
Just choose one out of 20
Yeah, there's
years.
like three that I could think. So one of them that I really love, and I'm still friends with this creative director today. We talk on Facebook,
Cute.
but it was for Orchard Supply Hardware in California. So it was owned by Sears, like think local hardware chain only in California. Huge specialty in plants and everything.
That's a Wilms do it best hardware. That's the
Yeah,
language you're
kind of.
speaking to me
Yeah.
right now. That's my local
Um,
hardware store with a great greenhouse.
yep. Yeah,
They
and
are spectacular.
they had the God, what was it called? I'm blanking on some of the terminology. This was probably 2003, maybe
Oh gosh.
2004,
Okay.
like a long time ago. They had a lifetime plant guarantee. So if your
Oh
plant
wow.
died at any point, that wasn't you like, cutting it
Negligence.
like well, even if you neglected to water it, completely dead plant, you could bring it in. So we did this
Wow.
campaign that was print and TV. The TV was one simple tip. I still have these ads somewhere. I think they're on VHS though.
Oh
I
my
could go to the do
goodness.
space and transfer them to digital.
The tannic acid in tea can perk up plants. The answers are out there. We'll help you find them. Osh, Complete Hardware and Garden.
Anyway, the idea was like, so one of them was you just close up on a woman cutting a carrot, and she cuts the carrot and then looks at the end of it and then goes into the living room, gets on a ladder and sticks it in a broken light bulb and twists it. So the carrot just had to be the size of the broken light bulb the little holder.
Okay.
And she stuck it in there and twisted it. And the carrot doesn't conduct electricity. I mean, you should still turn off the breaker. Don't get me wrong.
Yeah.
And I think she did that in the ad. But anyway, so like it was all these little tips of things that you could do that you had no idea you could do. Like way before like TikTok or anything.
Oh,
These
you
could
mean
all be
like she was
huge on
taking
TikTok.
the broken light bulb out?
Yeah. So the
Okay.
light bulb had broken and it was
I was
just
like,
the
why is
end
she
of it was still
I
in
was
the
like,
socket.
why is she putting a carrot in a light socket?
Yeah.
This was the,
I'll
it's
have
the,
to
it's the
I'll see
potato
if I can
trick
find
from
the
Home
ads.
Improvement. I know exactly
Yeah.
what you're talking about.
So then, but the print ads were all like super long form narrative. Like the whole page was filled with text with an image in the middle, but
Okay.
they were also tips, but they also gave you history. And so for me, it was that one, we got a client to do long form print ads as digital was emerging.
Yeah.
Two, it tied into a TV campaign that was so much fun and so easy and simple to shoot.
Uh-huh.
The idea was just so simple, and Christian was just a genius with all of that stuff.
That's so cool.
He was also a little bit difficult at that time. I think I was fairly new. I don't think he'd worked with me and really understood kind of where I was coming from, but just being able to support that kind of creative, because I was just an account person. So it was
Just
really
an
neat.
account person.
So I know I have the print ads here still. One of them was about poinsettia leaves not being poisonous, and about a study. The whole thing was about a study that was actually done at the University of Ohio, where a biology professor, had his 5-year-old child eat poinsettia leaves until he got a stomach ache. And he ate it was like 50 or 100 poinsettia leaves. It was a lot, and he did not get the least bit sick. Well, he got a little bit sick. He got a little bit nauseated.
I mean, if you're
But
eating
it didn't kill
100
him.
leaves of a, yeah. Well,
If you're eating 100 leaves of lettuce, I'm going to feel like...
honestly,
ugh. Anyway,
I feel sad.
that was one of my all-time favorites, which would probably surprise a lot of people who've known me over the years. But it was just
That's one also
so
I've never
cool.
heard of, because you've talked about some other stuff that you've done, and
I
I've
don't
never.
talk about Osh. No, I talk about Aretha a lot.
Yeah.
If you get me
I
drunk.
hear about Smart Water often as well.
Oh, you mean Propel Fitness Water?
Sorry. Yep. Whatever.
Yeah, that
The
was my
water.
big time move. And then
Yeah.
the Cricket stuff, we did a rebrand for Cricket. That was really neat. But that Osh
Yeah.
campaign was one of my favorites.
That's really cool. That's really cool. I am curious what your perfect day off is.
Oh, perfect day
I'm choosing
off.
things that I don't know about you.
I know. My perfect day off. I didn't actually I did look at the prep document because, spoiler, we get the questions so that we can have an idea. And I had a thought on some of these. That Osh thing came out of left field, though. I totally forgot about that and just brought it up here. Perfect day off. I did not think about this one. I mean, I'm a homebody and an introvert.
Yeah.
So, hanging out by the pool and reading a book is great for me.
Yeah. Alone or with other people?
If other people are there, they need to shut the hell up. I don't want it to be I'm not going to go to a hotel pool or
no.
in San Diego, they had those a lot, the club pools in the hotels,
Got it.
a
Okay.
club. I'm not going to go there and hang out. If I'm going to go there and hang out, I'm going to be with friends. I'm going to drink. I'm going to eat, and I'm going to exhaust my battery. No, I'm talking lounge chair by my pool, shade umbrella.
Okay.
Or on a work trip once, at the end of the trip, I stayed an extra day. We were in Maui, and I was just staying at the Marriott Courtyard. But the Marriott Courtyard in Wailea, which is the south part of Maui, is amazing. I think it's the south part. Is it south or north? I never know what direction I'm going when I'm over there. But anyway, they had cabanas. And so we just rented a cabana, and it had a shade thing, and sat there all day. We ordered food, we ordered drinks, got in the pool occasionally. Didn't realize there was not a lot of UV protection in the cabana top.
Yeah, ouch.
And I was a lobster. But
French
I
fried.
had a great time just sitting there reading my book and chatting with a friend and watching things.
Okay, I have 2 final questions. So I don't know if that makes them final. The one marketing hill that you will die on.
Oh my God. The marketing hill I will die on. I think it's your brand matters.
Yeah.
So I worked at Ogilvy and Mather early on. That's where I was for the Osh thing and some of the Craftsman stuff.
Yeah.
And so and I'd been a fan of David Ogilvy for a long time, and he was very big on brand, no matter what you do. And it's not just your logo and you've heard me say this a million times, it's your
We've
voice,
talked with Megan
it's
about
your
this
style.
too, yeah.
It's your look, it's your feel. Brand is the experience I get when I engage with your company or your product. That's... and it has all those things, color and all those things do play into it. But anyone who says, oh, just slap a logo on it, the brand doesn't matter, I will go after them. And honestly, I would give up a client that was like that if they were yeah, our brand doesn't matter, just whatever. It's yeah, well, then go somewhere else because we're not for you. I think that's big. And people doing gimmicky stuff that's outside of their brand. I know we've talked about this on other episodes where does your brand belong in that space? Brand as a filter for everything you do is so important.
Yeah. I love that. You know what? I think that's the perfect place to leave it. Because as I'm thinking about this series, this is part of our brand, right? Our people and how we work and the way that we work together is really important to us and important to how we interact with our clients. So I think
and I think
that's
I
the
think
essence.
people always say oh God, with a client, what's your main point of difference? Our people. Okay, that's great. Everybody says our people. How do you demonstrate that? Show me why it's your people. What do they bring to the table? Are you above and beyond on customer service? Are they 100 times smarter than everybody else?
Yeah.
I think for us, it's when we get together. I mean, I just solved a huge problem for a new client with Jessica this morning.
Yeah.
And I was so elated. I gave her a jump scare, though. I didn't realize I wasn't on camera. And I shouted and clapped my hands really loud right in front of the microphone. And she's okay. And I'm oh my God, I'm so sorry. I didn't know that I was I wasn't on camera and you weren't seeing, you weren't prepared for my enthusiasm.
Our best stuff happens when we're all together. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I'm looking forward to how these all pan out. Because I think we're going to try to do them with everybody.
I want to.
Yeah.
It's my way, Isaac, if you're listening, it's my way to get you to answer the questions that I have wanted to ask you for the last 5.5 years.
There's a good point. We'll learn if Isaac is listening to the podcast. He'll suddenly be on vacation for 6 months. He's I'm working remotely from Morocco.
Sound quality, I'm so sorry. Yeah. Rich, thank you for
Yeah, thanks, Caitlin. It
subjecting
was really
yourself
fun.
to this specific brand of torture. And thank you all for listening. You can connect with us on LinkedIn. You can also connect with Rich on LinkedIn if you so choose. Occasionally has some snarky remarks and some really good professional insights there.
Sometimes.
And as always, you can find our agency at antidote_71 on social, or you can visit ctapodcast.live to send us a question or leave us a voicemail at 402-718-9971. And we will be back with more of this Employee Spotlight series in the weeks to come.